Okay guys, we are going to talk about key signatures. This will be lesson 1-9, key signatures. Now, last time and the time before that, in 1-7, we talked about accidentals. And accidentals are here it goes. Symbols that raise or lower the pitch. They make the note go higher or lower, but they only do it in half steps. So if I go from C to D, that is a whole step. If I go from C to C sharp, that is a half step. And that's going to be important for what we're going to do. Okay? So, imagine you have a measure or a piece with 150 measures in it. And you had to write the accidentals in every time. And change them back every time that you wanted to change them back. Say you wanted a C sharp in a measure, and later in that same measure you wanted a C natural. And you'd have to write the accidental both times. That would get very old very fast. And there was a time when music was handwritten. No printing. And even when music was printed, it was still expensive. So, the easy answer is that key signatures are developed to save ink and paper. There's a lot more reasons than that that are way above the scope of what we're going to do right now. Short version, easy version, key signatures save time and money on ink. Here's why. As always, we're going to work a treble clef because that's what I'm used to. I will draw a bass clef one later, okay? So, treble clef to start. Not my best treble clef, but it'll do. So, what is a key signature? Well, we have a time signature, and we have a treble clef. Now, in the space between them, if necessary, we place the key signature. Okay? If there is no key signature there, then everything is natural. No sharps, no flats. Now, here's your question. I keep saying key signature, but I haven't really shown you what it is. This is what it is. Say in the key signature that I'm using, I want 2 sharps. Okay? Then here, that is a key signature. Collection of flats or sharps. Okay, now I'm going to erase a little bit of this to make more room for my definition. Always placed at beginning of song between clef and time signature. Okay, so the key signature is a collection of sharps or flats, important or flats, placed between the clef and the time at the beginning of a song. What does it mean and how does it work? Well, it's real simple. Let's do this on another page. So I'm going to draw my clef again. I'm going to do 2 sharps Because if you're an orchestra, this might look a little familiar. Now, what does this mean? This means that for this song, all F's are F sharp. All C's are C sharp. Remember when I told you several times in the last couple of weeks that you needed to understand everything we're doing right now? This is why. I'm going to be using a lot of words that are terms that you should know by now. And if you have to stop this video and keep going back and looking up the words, it's going to slow you way down. So if you are completely lost at this point, go back and watch sections, let's see, 1.4a and b, 1.3 and 1.7. Yeah, 1.3, 1.4a, 1.4b, and 1.7. Clef, types of notes, and accidentals. So, what does this mean for this? This means that if this is an F, this is F sharp. This note is now F sharp. How do we know? Because this sharp is right here. The first question that most students ask is, well, what about an F in a different spot? Is that F sharp? Yes, it is. Remember what I said. All F's are F sharp. All of them. Okay? Doesn't matter where they are. It could be 17 ledger lines up. It's an F sharp. Yeah, I think it's 17. Something like that. Same thing applies to C's. All C's are sharp. Okay? So, let's review briefly. Key signature. Placed between clef and time, a collection of sharps or flats that alter every note in the piece to those sharps or flats. So, here's the next question. Is A sharp? The answer, no. Do you see a sharp here on this line? No. Or in this space. You see one on this line because the center line runs right through the center square. The center of the line runs through the center square. And the center square is on the space here. Okay? But there is not one here. So, having said that, here's the next question. Can you have sharps and flats in the same key signature? For your purposes, no. No, you cannot. Now here's the question of the day. This is where we're going to go to another one and draw a key signature again. Might help if I change it back to pen. Okay, so let's draw a piece of music. Let's say, here's an F. There's an A. And here's an F. Now, let's take a look at this. First off, let's get our letters. What letter is this for the first one? This is F. Yes, it is. It's on the bottom space. Remember, F, A, C, E. It's on the bottom space. But you have a key signature. The key signature here changes all F's to what? F sharp, which means that for this song, this is F sharp. Okay, now what's our next note? Our next note is, we have our spaces over here. A. Very good for those that are paying attention. A. Now let's look at this third one. We have a symbol here. What symbol is this? Well, if you reviewed 1-7, like I told you a few minutes ago, you would know that this symbol is A. Actually, let me do that this way. This is a natural. A natural cancels any accidental. Well, what accidental? The key signature. This means that this is now F natural. For how long? Well, let's look. What if I have a whole note here? That's an F. Yep. That is now F sharp. How is that F sharp? Well, what happens to accidentals at the end of a bar line? They change back. Whatever they were before, they go away. In the case of a key signature, now the key signature takes precedence. So here's a way to think about it. If you are driving in a car and the posted speed limit is 55 miles an hour, that's your key signature. Your key signature is telling you, for this part of this highway, go 55 miles an hour. But you hit a work zone, construction zone, and they tell you to slow down to 40. Which one takes precedence? The more immediate one. That's 40 miles an hour. And then after the work zone goes, the end of the measure, you go back up to 55. Any questions? Understanding that so far? I'm asking you questions like you're sitting here listening to me and I can see you. Old habits die hard, I guess. Okay, so we have our key signature. It's a collection of sharps and flats. We have our knowledge of our accidentals, sharps, flats, naturals, and how they work. We know where the key signature goes at the beginning of a measure between the clef and the time signature. And we know that the key signature takes precedence unless an accidental in the measure, like a sharp, flat, or natural in the example given, changes it. At the end of that measure, it changes back. Now, here is the question. What happens if I have a double bar right here? Remember what double bars do. They divide up sections. This is a new section. What happens if now my key becomes this? Well, let's ponder. We cannot have flats and sharps in the same key signature. So before, we had F sharp and C sharp. But after we come over here, now we have B flat. Why is it B flat? Well, it's between A and C on the middle line. Every good boy does fine. So, what happens to F and C? Well, now F becomes a natural and C becomes natural. So all F's are now regular F, all C's are now regular C, and all B's are now flat. That is how a key signature works. Yes, you can change keys in the middle of a song. If you have ever been in a church and the choir's going and they're improvising and it's really getting cranked up, then you have heard a choir change keys. They shift up. Okay? That is a key change. When you are listening to a song, usually after the bridge of the song, you have verse, chorus, bridge, which is a part that doesn't really sound like the rest of the song. Sometimes the key will change there. That is a key change. That means you're using a new set of accidentals and you're changing how the notes feel. There's way more to it than that, but just as a base knowledge of what a key is for beginners, this is a place to start. Now, one thing you might have noticed, and I'm hoping you did, is that you notice I started with F and C. Okay? So, now this is designed to be a demo, so pay attention. F, C, G. Why is it G? Center square above the top line, indicating it's on the space. D, A, E, B. Why are they in those particular spots? Why are they using those particular spaces? Well, if you put the F down on the bottom, there's a lot of other reasons for it, but the simple answer is then you got it in ledger lines, you shift the whole thing down. Or you shift up and it's a little harder to follow. This pattern that it's arranged in is actually pleasing visually. It makes it a little easier for you to read and follow along. So, F, C, G, D, A, E, B. How do we remember it? Everything we do has mnemonics. Every good boy does fine. Face. Good boys deserve fudge always. All cows eat grass. Etc. Here's how you remember the sharps. Father, Carlos, gets dessert at every bakery. Now, what are the flats? Well, which one did I start with? What's the one you saw on the page before? Let's go back. What is that one in the middle? B flat. So what are these? If I started with B, think about it for just a second. What would be the next one? If you said E, you are correct. E, A, D, G, C, F. Bead, greatest common factor. B, E, A, D, G, C, F. I really need to fix that G. Or I need to work on my handwriting. Either way. That's the order of sharps and flats. It is mission critical. It is necessary. You cannot just say, this song has 3 sharps and you just go ABC. It doesn't work like that. They have a specific order. I promise you, you will see both of these on a quiz. I promise you. Sure as I'm sitting or standing, you will see these again. So, that is what I have for key signatures. Let's take a moment to review. Key signatures are a collection of flats or sharps always placed at the beginning of the song between the clef and the time signature. They set the tone for the song. Okay? There's a whole myriad of ways I can show you that this works. Right now, all you need to worry about is that this is what it does. Remember that accidentals are symbols that are raising or lowering the pitch by half steps. Always here. Always. Now, how does a key signature work? By placing those at the beginning of the song, it tells you that all of that particular letter that it's sitting on, all instances of that letter, doesn't matter what line or space it's on, hold that accidental. Meaning, if it's sitting on an F line, it's always going to be F sharp or flat. If it's sitting on the C line, same thing. It doesn't matter. It's all going to be, it's all going to tie back to that key signature. Now, number 3. Can a key signature be changed? Yes, it can. It can be changed by accidentals in the measure. At the end of the measure, the key signature takes back over, just like leaving the work zone. You can also use a double bar line, as seen here in this photograph or picture. Use a double bar line to make up to separate off a new key signature. The keys have orders. If I tell you a song has 4 sharps, Father Carlos gets dessert. F, C, G, D. If I tell you a song has 6 flats, B, E, A, D, greatest common. If I tell you a song has 9 sharps, I'm well beyond the scope of what you deal with. If I tell you a song has 4 sharps and 3 flats, I am lying to you. Or it is a highly experimental piece that you don't need to worry about. Ladies and gentlemen, this is key signatures. I suggest you learn this very well. First 3 things you do when you look at a brand new song. Well, 4. Make sure you've got the right clef for your instrument. Check your time, check your key, and check your tempo, your speed. That's 4 things. I think I corrected myself. So, having said all of that, I know there will be questions. Your assignment today will involve your questions. So, after you've watched this video, go back to the classroom, check for the assignment, and leave your questions. It's okay to have a lot of questions. Key signatures are the step up into how music really works. And this is also the last big concept for a while. Everything else is just how music is played a little bit better. It's like knowing how to speak versus knowing how to write very well. There's a difference between the two. Okay? As always, I hope you're being safe. I hope you're behaving yourself. I cannot wait to get back to the classroom next year and see you guys and start playing music again, and hopefully how much more you'll be ahead with all the knowledge that you gained. Take care, be safe, and take care of each other. And listen to your parents. See ya.